Don't let the profit takers fool you. We are going to be back up. The profit takers have taken over for a minute, but I don't think that's where we're going to end up. Doesn't change a thing in my analysis or my expectations that we will be at 410 to 414 on Monday. This is my take on earnings calls with Tesla, not necessarily with other companies. I don't spend that much time looking at other companies. With Tesla, what happens on earnings calls is we take the street and retail investors and the bulls and the bears, and everybody takes a look at what happens on the earnings call. The street barely gets it. They might understand, as you'll see in a minute. Some people that we might consider to be fairly smart completely have lost it, have just don't get it at all. And other people really do get it. And I think, quite frankly, that myself, and people like Jeff Lutz and Larry Goldberg and, the folks that I have on this show, the reason I have them on my show is because I think they get it. And I think they get it in a way that most analysts don't. Maybe Dan Ives would be one who tends to get it. We'll look at what Dan Ives had to say in a few minutes. Anyway, but the profit taking, that's just a whole nother part of the game, right? I mean, so yesterday I talked about the rule of three, which I didn't know was a thing, but it's something I employ, which is the rule of three is 3 days after Tesla has the earnings call, we will know what everybody actually thought. So today, who knows? Could be up, could be down. Tomorrow could be up, could be down. Monday will be the day that tells the story. Anyway, my number one takeaway from the earnings call, the product lineup is 100% in place. The top generals, the top people, vice presidents of this and all the different people, they're in place. The production lines are being built. In fact, a lot of the production lines are built, are in the process of being built. They're modifiable, but they're built. The plan is in place. The plan is there. The road to the $35 trillion valuation that Elon Musk has talked about and continued to talk about yesterday, it's just down to execution. That's all that's needed to be done. Just do the job. Just finish Robotaxi. Just finish FSD. Just start creating cybercabs. Just start creating Model Q cars. Just start getting those robots ready to go, finishing them up. Just execute. That's all. That's it. No new products needed. No major changes in strategic vision. There isn't going to be any deep-seek surprises with regard to Tesla because nobody else can manufacture like Tesla. Software is a completely different world. But when it comes to manufacturing, there's nobody like Tesla. No, I mean, just there is nobody like Tesla. I think you agree with that. So, okay, other companies might come along and they might have a great robot, and some other companies may come along and they might have a great, solution to Robotaxi. I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, in fact, in both cases, nobody's going to have a product as good as Tesla, and then nobody's going to be able to make the numbers. So even with 100 robot companies, it won't matter. Remember, there used to be 100 BEV makers around the world that were going to try to compete with Tesla. The competition was always coming. This is not the concern. So no one else has 2 factories producing megapacks. No one else has a fleet of robotaxis ready to deploy. And all these businesses have TAMs. The energy business, the robotaxi business, and the Optimus business have TAMs that are beyond Apple's TAM. So the biggest company in the world, Apple, 3 of the divisions of Tesla have TAMs that are bigger than Apple's entire business. Well, let that sink in. Well, how did you guys feel about the call? Well, I don't know about you because I can't poll you, but I did poll the followers on X, and 60% of them said they were stoked. 26% said they were happy. 12% said they had a mixed view, and 2% were bummed by the call yesterday. Piper Sandler analyst Alexander Potter, he reiterated his overweight rating and $500 price target on Tesla. The analyst said, we remain overweight following Q4 results that missed the mark. To be fair, there's some bright spots in terms of the the overall margin and the free cash flow, but gross margin was an obvious miss on the cars. It appears Tesla spent heavily on clearing out outdated Model Y units from inventory. Totally smart, don't you think? Which negatively impacted pricing, but arguably none of this matters for the thesis. Perhaps somewhat surprisingly, Tesla isn't backing down from a commitment to launch new products, plural, 7, they said. 7, there you go, across multiple factories in the first half of 2025. And management still expects delivery growth in 2025. Plus commentary, full self-driving software has never been so unabashedly bullish. Autonomy is upon us. Giving all this, we're not surprised that the stock is trading up 4% after hours, which it was trading at around 405 all night, 405, 406 all night, and of course opened at 410, which made me happy. But again, my price is not about what it opened at today, it's what it closes at on Monday. Although by Monday it could be higher, really could. Huge. The price, this was the biggest things I saw, okay? These were the few things I thought were just big. The price of Optimus will be set by the market, okay? This is very important. And what this tells me is Elon will be setting the price of all of these new products by what the market is telling him that he can get. He's not going to say, oh, I can only get 25% margins, which is what I was worried about. I mean, honestly, I've been worried about that he would say, oh, well, 25 is fair. No, he's gonna sell the product for what it's worth. So number 2, there was significant interest from many major companies in FSD licensing. This is massive. This means that Tesla will get to choose among them and decide which ones get it and which ones don't. And of course, be able to charge accordingly. Now, they have to charge in a way that they can be profitable. It doesn't make sense. And then a huge. A third MegaPactory is under construction already. Okay, so we were already talking about 100 gigawatt hours out of the 2 that exist now, and I think that's being underplayed. I think it's probably way more than that, given the size of the factory in Shanghai, and the reality that Tesla always finds a way to improve what they're doing. But a third factory is under construction. That was massive. That alone should have caused the stock to go up. That's like 350,000 of the new Model Q cars in profit. It's huge. It's massive. People don't get it. Gary Black said the paid autonomous ride-hailing being started in Austin in June is probably the most bullish thing I've ever heard that I've heard on the Tesla call. Okay, just on this particular Tesla call. I look at that and I go, what in the world, Gary? Why? Yes, that's extremely bullish. And it's going to have a major impact, and it's going to make us all kinds of money. It's going to drive the stock up to 2,700, according to Cathie Wood, and maybe more, just on the strength of Robotaxi. It is very bullish, Gary. I agree with you. Okay. But Tesla 2026, which I've been talking about for 18 months. I started talking about 20. I said what Elon said last night. I said that 18 months ago, and I've reiterated it and said it over and over again. You can go back and look at videos. Just go into my video thing on YouTube and type in 2026 as a search item, and you'll see how many videos I've done on 2026. The stock should be trading at 1,200 right now. According to Cern, it should be 3,000. I'm saying it should be at 1,200 right now, because this is what any bozo should be able to figure out. Now that we know that Tesla is going to price the bots at market, 50,000 bots at 60,000 profit as rentals in 2026 will be $3 billion profit. And that'll be a $33 billion profit in 2027 and a $333 billion profit in 2028. That's what everybody should be concentrating on. And you can do the math is easy. I say it's going to be rented out at $75,000 a year. Maybe it'll cost $10,000 or $15,000 to do that. So you have a $60,000 profit. Maybe that's understated because I can make a case that they should be renting them out for $130,000 easily. Okay, but let's go with that number. Anyway, that's 330 billion of profit. Do you know that Apple's profit's 100 billion? More than 100 billion, but around 100 billion. It's easier to figure it out that way. All right, number two, robotaxis. 10,000 average profit, 2 million on the road by 2026 is a $20 billion profit. 20 billion on top of the 300. Anyway, and then 35,000 megapacks at 150,000 profit each. And that's really low. That's really not, it's probably going to be more than that. That would be 5 billion in profit. And then 40,000 semi-trucks at $100,000 profit each, which is probably really, really low. That's $4 billion in profit. Come on, analysts. I haven't even talked about the rest of the cars. Anyway, many have missed that the new, more affordable vehicle are NMAV, also known as the Q, or the 2.5, will have at least 2 variants and maybe 3, because they said cars. They said models. I'm saying that there'll be 3, and it'll be a hatchback, a 6-passenger minivan, and a small truck. And it'll all be on the same skate. And they'll just, because it's going to be unboxed. Here comes this one. Anyway, another piece that this pun didn't get right was that I've been getting right, and nobody, believe me, nobody else said this, and people argued against me. The toe, foot, leg approach to robotaxi. Now, Elon talked about it in terms of we're going to put it in one city and figure it out, and then we'll put it in a second city and figure it out, and we'll make sure that we've got all the stuff right, the pricing and the payments and everything, which I definitely did talk about, but others did too. I wasn't alone on that one. No, what I said, and I still think I'm going to be right, first of all, is that there will be this kind of, testing it out kind of thing. But I think that's going to be true for unsupervised also, that unsupervised will be rolled out in a toe, foot, leg approach, which they've done on every other level of FSD. So first, completely unsupervised will be rolled out to Chuck Cook and, Black Tesla and, all these guys that have been doing all the testing all along. I mean, the first guys to get all the other levels of FSD, they'll get it first. I think that's going to happen. We'll see what happens. MarketWatch said this, UBS analyst Joseph Spax, he believes that investors don't really view Tesla as a car maker anymore. We can almost definitively say that the market doesn't treat Tesla like an auto company, but rather as an AI company, he wrote in the Thursday report. No, I think we should change it again. We should change it as the market views Tesla as a Elon Musk company, a completely off the planet, completely unbelievable, like, I don't know, some other company, SpaceX or something, valued now at, what is it, 300 billion, 350 billion? I can't keep track. It's the most valuable privately held company in the world. Anyway, but they say, should Tesla be trading more like an auto stock? SPAC pointed to various factors that he thought might concern investors. For instance, Tesla posting a 13.6 automotive gross margin, excluding credits, which SPAC said was the lowest since early days. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He sees room for that to go even lower. No, I don't think so. I think what's happening is Tesla is continuing to produce as many cars as they possibly can. Turns out they were battery constrained. Who knew? I didn't guess that at all. So battery constraint is what is really in the way of things like why we don't see a semi-truck yet. I mean, that's why they haven't ramped it earlier. That's probably why Cybertruck is less sales than we thought it was going to be. Anyway, what about Tesla's other ventures in the broader realm of autonomy, they ask. We continue to be impressed with Tesla's initiatives and the progress they're making on FSD and Optimus, SPAC wrote, referring to Tesla's full self-driving offering. Our challenge remains the actual numbers and more easily identifiable forecasts. They can forecast auto and energy easier, they're saying, than they can do robotaxis and Optimus. Well, obviously. Looking at the earnings expectations for the next year or two, SPAC doesn't expect things like humanoid robots to factor in. Even though the company eventually may be poised to gain traction there. SPAC has a sell rating on Tesla stock along with 259 price target, up from 226. So at least he raised it to 259. Gene Munster says this morning he proved he doesn't understand Tesla at all. In an interview last night, actually not this morning, he was shocked that the stock went up given the earnings print. Is he really that completely incurious or stupid? I've always thought Gene Munster kind of had it figured out. He apparently doesn't. Okay, Dan Ives says, if you are a bull/believer in the AI autonomous vision, like him, like us, like his company, for Tesla this morning, those investors feel even more confident in their thesis. Near-term numbers choppy, although we believe the autonomous AI piece is 90% of the Tesla story and worth $1 trillion alone. Okay, this is Randy Kirk. Please like, please subscribe, please hit notify, because as always, it will be a fantastic day. I'm sure that you will hear way more about energy tonight from two sources, both of my shows today with Bradford Ferguson and then Cern Basher. I think Cern will be covering a lot of stuff with regard to both of them. Will they'll be fantastic. Come tonight. I promise you they will be amazing. Good news on the labor front this morning. In the week ending January 25, the advanced figure for seasonally adjusted initial claims was only 207,000, a decrease of 16,000 from the previous week. This week's moving average was 212,000, a decrease of 1,000 from the previous unrevised average of 213. So that's really, really good news on the labor front. These were both well under the street's expectations. So that's good news. Hopefully that continues. The total number of continuous weeks claimed for benefits in all programs for the week ending January 11th was 2,272,000, a decrease of 28,000. And this is the number I pay the most attention to. If you're a regular, you know that. So that's a very good number. All right. So then from the real E.J. and Tony, not the fake one, but the real one, he says that Biden has handed Trump an economy with declining investment. Note that private fixed investment is the real driver of long-run economic growth, while the sugar high of debt spending that we have seen would offer no sustainability. So private company investment was low in the GDP report. The GDP came in at 2.3, which was less. 2.5 was what the market was expecting, came in at 2.3. So that was a little bit disappointing. Mostly it was consumer spending and the government, of course, that's creating the GDP going up. This has got to stop. We got to flip that. We got to get the consumer and businesses to be creating the GDP increase and government actually to be a lag, okay? So that is what we'd be hoping for under the Trump administration. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at where the markets are right now. We have Tesla back to 391 after being at 410. Of course, that looks like a 20-point jump. I mean, a 20-point drop, of course, and it is compared to where it opened this morning, but it's actually up 261 compared to the close last night. That's pretty funny. Anyway, as noted earlier, I think we'll be at 410 on Monday. Maybe tomorrow night close or maybe Monday. Anyway, it doesn't matter to me. 2 to 3 days is after everything's all sorted out. That's how I see it. Dow Jones, 47 up. NASDAQ, 55 down. S&P 5 up. So I would call that flattish. What is people concentrating on now? The PCE tomorrow. But really, the inflation of the Fed, kind of out of it now. Yeah, the bonds are going to continue to be a big deal, but the bonds right now don't seem to be interested in inflation. I know, that's really ridiculous. The bonds are supposed to be like 1.5 points above the inflation rate. I don't think they're paying attention to inflation. They're paying attention to what is the Trump administration really going to do in terms of these cuts. And if the Trump administration proves that they're really going to do it, the bonds will continue to go down, which they are going down so far. And Tesla's just gone up a little more. it looks, I think Tesla will do just fine today. We'll see. All right. So we've got the Magnificent Seven completely mixed. We've got Apple down a teeny bit, Google up nicely, 2%, Amazon down almost a full percent, Meta up. Okay, what is this? This is up. Well, they're up 24. Yeah, that's a lot. I can't figure it out in my head here. I'm trying to. Anyway, it's 3%. There we go, 3%. Microsoft down a similar amount, maybe even more than that. They're down 27. Yeah, they're down more than that. They're down like 5, 6%, 7%. Yeah, almost 7%, 6.5% in because they missed. Anyway, Nvidia down 4% this morning at 119. Of all of those, AJ saying this morning, NVIDIA is probably a buy. That's not investment advice, not by him or by me. Okay, Kathy Woods, all up this morning, except for TDOC down 7 cents. I would call that 100% up this morning. Kathy Woods might be one of the ones that's, selling how she does, how she does with Tesla stock. Takes advantage of these opportunities. Anyway, okay, let's go ahead. Let me look at the percentages because you'll be upset with me if I don't. Dow Jones up 0.12, 12%. 0.12%, NASDAQ down 0.23%, S&P up 0.11%, and Tesla up now 0.79%. So yeah, that's, moving up. We'll see. Okay, let's go over to the bonds. So last time I checked, yes, they're still down 4.3 basis points on the 10-year at 4.51. We are gonna go, it was under 4.5 earlier. It is going under 4.5 today. Just watch. I believe, again, not investment advice. If I were a bond player, I'd be buying. I think the bond rally is upon us because I think Trump is going to prove that they're sincere about these cuts. The cuts are going to continue, and the cuts are going to be real, and the bond market is going to reward the Trump administration for that, sort of. Okay. So the 2-year down 2.1 and the 1 month down 0.3 basis points. So the shorts are still a little bit behind on this. Okay, let's go over to oil, which is up 77 cents this morning, but we're still looking at $73.39. I think we could be under 70 by the end of next week. I'm hoping that will be good. Okay, natural gas down 0.95% this morning at $3.14. We are down 25% since about 10 days ago. It was over $4.10. So about 25% down. Gold, and that to me, oil is also, down substantially. Gold breaking through all records, going absolutely nuts. So I should have been telling you to buy gold, but I didn't. 2,840. So the old all-time high was 2,795. So we're now $45 above that, and that's about how much we're up today. Silver up 3.8% at $32.58. Silver following gold, but still not cracking that $34 near-term recent all-time high. Copper up 0.86% at $4.32. Man, copper is just $4.33 it just likes to be there. The dollar firm, Bitcoin up 1679 at 105,843. I'd say I'm going to be contrarian to Nicholas. I think Bitcoin will be breaking through their 109 and going higher. That's it. We've covered all of them. So number one, I'm going to reverse my order this morning. Number one, right now, you don't even have to wait till the very end of the video. Go down to the description, hit Patreon, and reward me for being mostly right most of the time. for being optimistic and fun. Okay, I don't care what the reason is. Just go down and do Patreon. $3, $5, $10. If you do $5, you can get books for free. If you do $10, you can get a I got 2 more orders for Cybertruck last night from New Zealand. Yeah. Let's go. Come on. Cybertrucks. Patreon. It's all good. Contribute to my growing wealth, and growing mostly because of Tesla. I did buy 200, 200 leaps yesterday morning. Okay, two or 200, depending on how you want to look at it. All right, and what else do I want to tell you? Oh, yes, don't forget, we got Bradford Ferguson later tonight. Follow at around 5 o'clock Pacific, and then Cern Basher at 7:45 Pacific. We'll have a couple of short subjects later today, and we've got PCE tomorrow. What could go wrong? Anyway, as always, last night. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. I'll put these cards up, but you've already 18,000 of you already watched my interview with my co-host, Jeff Lutz last night, and another huge number, 7,000 or 8,000, have already watched the Brian Wang video last night. Both of those cards will be up here in case you haven't. You should. You absolutely should. Both of those were huge. Okay, that's it. It's been great talking to you.